Now here's a long letter that starts out wonderfully, but does not end that way. And it's from one of our ministers, a very faithful minister. Don't want to tell you who he is, don't want you to be able to identify him. It's really a wonderful letter, and I'm so deeply thankful that he sent it. And he writes, one of our ministers at headquarters, I thought to just quickly express gratitude and appreciation for the prophecy sermon you gave last week. I already know it has helped many brethren understand things better and easier, especially new folks. Many had forgotten some of the new truths and new elements we learned over the last 7 years, and many new brethren have never heard some of the things you explained. I had 4 members in a PM tell me just last week how confused they are about prophecy. I directly asked brethren if they are keeping up and understanding what is being taught in the series. Their frank responses are sometimes sobering. Many brethren are excited about the series, but I would not be surprised if at least, he says, at least 10 to 20% of brethren in my area are confused to the point where they do not even listen to the series anymore. The reasons they are confused may be many, but I think there are 3 common issues. Number 1, they don't have literature and reference points they access to review which outline the basic elements of prophecy. Think of all the charts and booklets we had to explain the big T. And when I was a new member, I thought it was rather complex. Many changes in our understanding is number 2. This caused many to stop taking notes, to prevent the current understanding to get ingrained into their thinking, because it will change again. Some have even said that it helped them not taking notes anymore. The effect is that when an easy part or basic truth is explained, unrelated to prophecy, they don't take notes, causing the understanding to slip easier. New brethren have 0 background and have to, so that's number 3, you have to sort of just figure out how to learn on the fly, unless someone takes several hours to bring them up to speed. And in this context, I think sometimes the sermons come so thick and fast that it sometimes just goes over the head of not only new brethren, but also some existing members. Now, I referred all brethren to how God's kingdom comes, not what you think, world to come video, to help them solidify the different comings of Christ. I have and will refer them to your recent sermon if they've not studied it yet. If you know of other material we can refer them to, please let me know. I've mentioned this to the headquarters ministry in the past, but I find brethren who struggle with the series difficult to pastor. Several refuse to talk about the series and will even walk away from a conversation or fellowship containing it. I started to mention the issues in pastorate reports from more than 2 years ago, and sometimes I feel like it's getting worse, sometimes not. We all have found some elements of the series hard to follow too, but I never want to give brethren the impression that I am in any way undermining the series or our Father in the gospel. Yet at the same time, I fully appreciate the obligation I have toward the sheep God has put in my care. I just try my best to communicate what I see on the ground back to headquarters. It's been a challenging task to keep many of the sheep glued to it and excited. It remains awkward to balance. If Friday comes and goes, I look forward to exploring, parentheses, rather urgently, ways to help those who are not actively following the series anymore. Any ideas will be welcomed. Recently, I mentioned to the headquarters ministry how I may want to give a sermon on the series one day, maybe 2 parts, just to help their understanding of basic elements, the 3 iterations, the 7th and 8th head, timing of resurrections, etc. You already covered several parts of it. Thanks again.